This video is for educational and entertainment use only. The views in this video do not necessarily represent the views or life of Marlon Dixon.
All right, so welcome back to Duffle LO, the sit down. In the last video, we ended up talking about the Evergrande crisis, and we really didn't get too deep into the crisis, but we talked about one of the worst banks that even though they was worse and they didn't have the money, they was lending billions to Evergrande. But why was they? Because they was the first non-state operated lender. And there's a lot behind that backstory that I have you guys go look into. That's your guys' homework, and we're gonna get into it. So let's move forward. We still talking about Evergrande, we still talking about China. So everything is about China, but this is about Evergrande. And let me explain this to you. You see what that say right there? Wham. What do that say? Monday, November 29th, 2021 by Bill McLaughlin. Global bubble bursts. It bursts. Evergrande set for collapse, causing great reset, worse than 2008. You guys got to understand when they keep saying, oh yeah, it's the great reset. It's the great reset. When they study telling you reset, think about you playing the game messed up and all this stuff going wrong, you all just reset the game. What do reset mean? Start over. It's as deep as I'm gonna go with y'all on that one. The global financial system is set for collapse and will be worse than the 2008 economic crash, one expert has claimed. Now let's get into it. China Evergrande faces $221 billion in euros of debt. And one expert has claimed the company's collapse could spark the fall of the financial system. Speaking to Express.co.uk, this coming from over there in the UK and England, Europe, and all that. That's where this information is coming from. Dr. Marco Metzler from the Deutsche Marktschreining Agentur claimed the collapse of the Evergrande is the first domino of the eventual destruction of the world financial system. So you guys know the domino effect, right? This one fall on this one, and then that one fall, and then they keep on going. So they saying this is the first domino to fall, and then there's going to be more to come. So you guys got to really pay close attention to this video, because this is the video that's going to really rev it up. So if you thought the other three videos or something, this video is going to rev it up. Watch. The first domino. Okay. Due to the size of the property market, estimated at 55 trillion US, 40 trillion euro, he claimed the collapse of China's property market will create a worse financial meltdown than what was seen in 2008. Now, if you guys was around or was old enough to understand the 2008 financial crisis, they had these subprime loans where the banks was basically lending money to people that they weren't checking their credit. They weren't caring about if they had income. Some people ain't even state that they had income. And they was, you can have a home, you can have a home, you can have a home. Everybody had a home. That did what with the market? That made the housing market go up. Once all these loans end up default, that crashed the market. When it crashed the market, there came all these foreclosures for people to be able to buy these houses penny on a dollar. Now we in this same situation right now where we have the moratorium that's getting ready to end. And check out my other videos when I said foreclosures have soared 94% over the last year, starting in 2022. So you have to see how all this stuff is connected. What I'm doing is just putting some little GUI on it to try to connect it for you guys. But this is going to be a worse financial meltdown than what was seen in 2008. So China, if they default on this, their market is going to crash. They might have to pull investments out of other places, which is going to crash their markets, like I said in the other video. So it's going to be a domino effect. And this professor sees that. Indeed, the property market, when including construction and property-related goods and services, totals 29% of China's GDP. So, okay, I stand corrected. I think last video I said the other video, the second video about the sun, I think I said it's like 50% of China's GDP. So I stand correct, it's 29%. That's still high. That's still a lot of the GDP. Dr. Metzler said, this is the first domino of the collapse of the market. He added, it will be even worse than the 2008 financial crash. The market is bigger than what the US was. So that means the US ain't that big. This market is bigger than what the US was. Let's go back to the numbers so you guys can see what this is. It's estimated, this is a property market, estimated at 55 trillion US. The US is in about like 30 trillion in debt. They property market alone is worth 55 trillion. So if that crash, oh boy, and China own a lot of the US debt. Let's keep it going. Plus, the supply chains aren't working and there is inflation, which everybody should know. Y'all see the price of everything going up. If the market doesn't crash, we will have hyperinflation, and that will have the same effect on the economy. So anywhere it go, the economy basically pretty much, excuse my French, fucked. It really is right now. And we either gonna let it crash and then try to salvage it, or we don't allow it to crash and we have hyperinflation to where gas might be $10. A gallon of milk might be $12. Eggs might be $8. Like, it's still gonna cause the same situation. And like you guys should know, in the US, the federal minimum wage, $7.25, you're not gonna be able to afford nothing off that. So we gotta really see what we're gonna get ready to do. China Evergrande is one of the largest companies in the world and one of the largest in the country's property market. So Evergrande is big in China. Due to increased restrictions on foreign lending, Evergrande has faced several bond interest repayments. So China is restricting their companies from getting money from other places. They got to get the money from inside the country. So you have to go to one of the lenders that's in the country. You can't go to a lender that's outside the country. So that's what's making Evergrande, because they need so much and they need to try to get all this. They can't borrow money from nowhere else. So they kind of in a, they in a situation. According to the DMSA, Evergrande has already missed 5 deadlines, which amounts to 110 million euros. That's how big their payments is. That's a big ass payment. By missing the 5 deadlines, Dr. Metzler warned further default payments will also be missed due to cross-bond clauses. You gotta look up cross-bond clauses. Think about this. If you already missed 5 deadlines, so your due date on the 5th. Let's say your due date on the 5th. Today is the 12th. You already missed on the 5th. You missed on the 6th, on the 7th, on the 8th, on the 9th. You 9 times out of 10 gonna miss on the 10th as well. If you study missing. So it's like, okay, now will they add interest on top of that because you've been missing these payments? So now instead of 110 million euros, it might be 112 million euros. So the company faces further deadlines on December 28th and January 22nd, 2022. And several more next year. That's coming up. 122.22. It's coming up. Matter of fact, that's next week. However, Dr. Metzler believes the company and therefore the financial system is at the end of the line. He also claimed China's economy is now heading for a recession. He added, people say you can kick the can down the road, but we're at the end of the line. So now kicking the can down the road, for those that don't know, it just basically means that we have this problem, and rather than us facing the problem, we just keep on, we'll face it later. We'll worry about it later. We'll worry about it later. We just keep on worrying about it later to where it's like, all right, now the problem is facing you. You can't kick it nowhere else. You just, okay, all right, we got to face it. That's what he's saying. We at the end of the line. We got to face this right now. It's a matter of time. We have high inflation and low interest. Think about that. Inflation driven by lack of goods, and China has an energy problem. See? You see? Now you see that? Inflation driven by lack of goods, and China has an energy problem. So because they had this energy problem, go back to the first video, the moon video. The moon shows you that they created an artificial moon that's going to save them $170 million per year. Then the second video, they created an artificial sun that they're going to get unlimited solar energy from. That Lord knows they didn't say how much that's going to save them, but that's going to also save them money because they're using mass amounts of energy. If you go over there to Shanghai and you look at they type of cities and all that stuff, they got lights everywhere. So they need that energy. So you guys got to understand when they say they have an energy problem because they use a lot. So that's why they need to create these things. It's even worse than in 2008. There are fears over the financial market as if a large company were to declare bankruptcy, it could spook lenders across the world. This therefore could cause lenders to stop providing loans, loans due to the uncertainty of market, which will cause a credit crunch similar to 2008. So when they talk about a credit, let's get that. So when they talk about a credit crunch, what they talking about is you understand in 2008, whatever you had, like you had lines of credit or you had your credit card, they was cutting them. So you had $10,000 credit card. Oh, they was cutting that. That was probably like $5K. And it wasn't just you. It was across the board. So people that had lines of credit, $500,000 of credit, $250. People at 100,000, 50. They was cutting all that money to try to basically save. But let me explain you what they was really doing. Excuse my sip. But what they was really doing is when they don't have the money out there in credit to you, they have that money to themselves. So when the market crashed, they slashed everybody credit so they can have the money. And what did they do? They purchased the properties. That one they did. So y'all got to understand that. When they tell you, oh yeah, this is a bank-owned home. The banks don't want this home on their books. They don't want to keep paying a mortgage to another bank and interest and all this stuff and property fees and property taxes and all that. No, they want to get it off their book. So who would they get the property off the book to? To one of the investors that they be doing business with. That's why I said they came and scooped up them properties for pennies on the dollars. The insider investors. Y'all got to understand this stuff. All this stuff is linked. It's interesting. It's crazy, but it's real. So that's it for that. The bubble is bursting. We already here in 2022. Today is January 12th. They got 10 days. They already defaulted on the 28th. Now they got 10 days until the January 22nd. So it's going to get ready and go down, y'all. So when they study saying, oh, the reset, the great reset, all they saying it's going to be worse than 2008, which means a lot of people going to lose their homes. A lot of people going to lose some money. It's going to be crazy. And the people that got money, they're going to end up scooping a lot of this stuff up for pennies on a dollar. So some people going to get real rich from this, and some people going to be real broke from this. If you know what to do, you know what to do. If you don't know what to do, I feel sorry for you. So I'm just saying that, but it's really real. But at the end of the day, hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the video. If there's anything that you guys want me to talk about, or you got any questions, you need things clarified, hit me on the comments below. I'm answering the comments. So like I said, make sure you guys prosper through adversity every day. Don't underestimate family, friends, lovers, enemies. Always look objectively. No matter what city, state, or country is in, every hood is the same. If ain't nobody tell you that they love you today, I'm going to tell you right now because I love you. That's why I'm telling you guys this stuff, so you guys can get those juices flowing in the brain to go research this stuff to understand what's coming or what's going on. So that's all I got to say for this video. See you guys on the next video because we going all the way up.
This video is for educational and entertainment use only. The views in this video do not necessarily represent the views or life of Marlon Dixon.